Alright everyone, so welcome back to the channel, and if you've clicked on this video, it's probably because you've got BMAT Results Day coming up. And you might want a little bit of information about it, you might want something to get on with the day, you also might want something that helps you understand a little bit more about something that you probably have never gone through before, apart from your UCAT Results Day. But the BMAT Results Day is very different, and there are a lot of reasons for why that is. Now, the first thing I would say is that this video is going to be very chill, so if you're worried about your BMAT results, don't worry, I'm not going to be scaring anyone in this video, I'm not going to be telling you horror stories. I will sort of give you a realistic breakdown of what happens on the day, some things that you need to do to prepare for it, and what to expect, really. If you don't know, I'm a second year medical student, so I went through BMAT Results Day a few years ago now, so it's a long while ago now, but back in my day, BMAT Results Day was pretty similar, I think. I don't think it's changed too much, but there are a few things that may have, been a little bit altered, so it's always worth checking out the BMAT website for your official information. However, I will be talking through some bits and pieces, just so you can, get a little bit ahead, and maybe just chill those nerves, especially if it's the few days leading up to Results Day. I hope this video helps. Before we get into it, do make sure to subscribe if you aren't already subscribed to the channel. We're on about 570 subscribers, or 569, or 571. We're on about 567 subscribers, so if you wouldn't mind topping off that total and getting to 600, I would appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. Yeah, a quick word from our sponsors of this video, Amber. So if you don't know who Amber are, they're essentially a student accommodation brand who help young prospective students of any degree predominantly get into accommodation that's A, cheap, B, looks good, and C, actually has everything you need in university. Because to be honest, one of the most difficult things that will happen when you get to university is picking accommodation. And since it's the place where you're going to be spending most of your time apart from your actual campus, it's pretty important to get a decent place to stay, to eat food, to get shelter, and essentially to just warm up before you get to university. So whatever degree you're doing, whether that be medicine, whether that be engineering or biomedical sciences, Amber are here to help you out with that. They offer brilliant prices for a huge variety of accommodation places, and offer an easy to use website that they have kindly given us to, give you. So the link is down below. All you need to do is just register with them. Make sure you click on my link down below because it helps support the channel, and also it's just easier that way. So essentially all you need to do is register for an account. You don't need to pay anything. You just set up a one-to-one meeting and you can discuss with them what your ideas are, where you want to go, and they'll help you, get some ideas and what kind of accommodation you can get. A couple of examples of accommodation they do are here, and to be honest, this is incredible. A lot of the university places that you get are nowhere near as comfortable as this because they're part of the uni, and they will be much more smaller. They'll probably have a lot less light, and they'll also have a lot less things inside their rooms. So the Amber accommodation is genuinely brilliant, and also the prices are hugely competitive, so they're much better than a lot of university prices. So I would highly recommend you have a look at this. The link is down below, and once again, thank you very much to Amber for sponsoring this video. Okay, so BMAT Results Day this year is on the 26th of November. You probably already know that, and that's a Friday, so it's the end of the week, but it also will define your weekend probably. That's normal, results are a big thing, but the thing to be wary about is BMAT results are very different. Namely because you're probably going to be one of a few people in your school who are going to have this. Remember that this is a perfectly normal day. Everyone else at school is going to be normal. This is going to be an ordinary Friday for them, so they will be acting as if it was a normal school day. And there'll only be a few of you who are bricking yourselves because you've got BMAT Results Day coming out. Or BMAT results rather coming out. So that is going to be pretty weird. I remember when I came into school and my results came out in the morning, I remember just walking in and expecting everyone to come in like really nervous, and then everyone just walked in normally because of course there are only a few people who are applying to medical school. So it's kind of a weird thing, but you'll get used to it a little bit, and your friends who are also applying to medical school, if you've got any at your school, will also be in the same situation. You're all in the same boat realistically. Of course, if there aren't any others at your school who are applying to medical school, don't worry, there are tens of thousands of people in the UK who are in the same position as you. So do not worry, you are not alone, first of all, and that should be obvious. But the first thing I'd say is just to treat it like a normal school day, however difficult that might be. Go into school at your normal time, do what you normally do, and just try and do things as best you can. If you're obviously nervous, you'll be a little bit anxious, that's fine. I was obviously very nervous, but I just tried to do the same things that I'd usually do on a school day. But in the days before it, I would say realistically, you do need to do a few things. So, number one, you need to be realistic. Think about how your BMAT went and what you could be getting. Now, I'm not saying you've got to, predict your BMAT, and you won't be able to predict your BMAT. But I am saying, just have a realistic thing. Are you going to get a 2 or a 1? Or are you going to be towards the 8s and the 9s and the 7s? Which end of the scale are you going to be on? And have a think about your essay. How was that? Was that very good? Was it not too good? What do you write about? Just have a guess. Because what I want you to do next is to look at the list of universities you've applied to, because unfortunately with the BMAT, you've already applied to your university, so you can't change that. Have a think about how many BMAT universities you've applied to. You should have only applied to 1 or 2, because that's the safest option. If you've applied to 3, that's fine as well. If you've applied to 4, it's a little bit worrying, but obviously you've got your 5th non-medical choice, which is still there. But for those of you who've applied to less than 4, means you've got at least 1 more UK university. So you need to be thinking about the BMAT universities you've applied to and having a look at, their history, so what their genuine BMAT sort of cut-off is, what they like to see, is there any particular way they rate the BMAT scores, and have a think about whether you're likely to get to the next stage. If you know, for example, that you're applying to somewhere which has a BMAT cut-off of 7.5, you're probably not going to get in if you're aiming at a 3. Be realistic about it and try and hedge your bets towards your other universities. However, if you think you've done pretty well and you've got a university that doesn't really care about the BMAT or cares about the BMAT, either way, you know that you've done well and you're probably going to get to the next stage, so try not to worry about it. But always just make sure that you're aware of which universities you've applied to, and if there are any problems, or if you're thinking, hang on a minute, I don't think I'm going to get into university, make sure you reach out to your teachers or to your 6th form tutors for help, just to let them know I've applied to these universities, and I'm getting my BMATs back soon, just in case something goes wrong, what do I do? So they'll be able to advise you on what to do next. But there's always something else to do, so be aware, just do some basic prep on the universities you've applied to only. Don't look at other universities, because there's no point, and looking at what you may have got. So that's what you really need to do in the build-up. I wouldn't spend too much time worrying and hassling over it, because you've got A-levels going on. Focus on that. You don't want to waste time, precious, valuable, incredible time on worrying about BMAT scores. So do make sure you're spending time in your A-level revision the day before the BMAT, or the days before the BMAT, or even the weeks before the BMAT results day. So I would say that's everything in terms of the build-up. I don't want you guys to stress about it too much. The only other thing that I'm going to talk about very briefly is what to do on BMAT results day, and what's going to happen. This is a very different results day, vastly different results day to any of the results days that you've probably had already. And the reason being is for a number. So firstly, you're going to get your results on a website, I believe. So they will come out on this really weird website. It's not a very aesthetically pleasing website, and it's a decent website, but you'll just basically get your rundown of your scores, and that's it. You'll just get your scores, so your section 1, section 2, and section 3 scores, and that's it. There'll be nothing else. You won't get any sort of other information, you won't get any sort of comments or tips. Why would you want tips, unless you're redoing it next year? Why would you want tips, realistically? That's it. That's all you're getting from the BMAT website. So just expect that. It's literally just your 3 scores and that's it. They will obviously say section 1, section 2, section 3, and they'll give the full titles and everything, but that's it. They won't even say, where you lost your marks, what scores you got even. So in terms of what actual numerical score, you won't find that out. You have to wait for the explanation of the results to come out on the general website. So you'll know when you're revising, or if you didn't, they're on the BMAT website. Every year there's an explanation of results. Usually this also comes out on the same day of results day, so it might actually come out at the same time. So as soon as your results come out, that explanation of results will be out. But we'll get onto that later. So you'll probably get your results out, and that's it. It'll be over within a few seconds, as opposed to other results where you've got to skim through all of them, all your subjects, all your cut-off marks, and etc. BMAT results day, you look at it, and that's it. You've got your results. It literally takes half a minute to look at it. Now everyone else is going to get their results, and the first thing I don't want you to do is tell everyone what you got. And the reason is because either you've done badly, don't tell people what you've got, because it's just going to make your day worse, or you've done well, and other people who you don't know may think that they've done well, where in fact you've done better than them. It's sort of a weird situation to be in, but don't tell them your result, because that's just going to put them down for no reason whatsoever. Don't be that guy who just goes around telling everyone that you did really well. If you got like a good score, just leave it. Just be happy with yourself. You don't need to indulge in other people to get satisfaction from your own score. You should be happy with your own score. So it sounds a little bit petty, and it sounds a little bit condescending, and a little bit obviously I know this, but it just really does make a difference. So A lot of people will struggle on this, and if you didn't, that's fine, and if you really didn't struggle with it, and you did really exceedingly exceptional, great, well done, but please don't go around telling people. It's really irritating when somebody walks around telling people that they've got high marks. Just leave it, just say you did okay, you did alright, and that's it. You shouldn't really be telling people what you got. It's just a little thing, just to say. So what you should be doing then is now looking at the explanation of results. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's a little page, a PDF that they release every year for that year's cohort's results. Now, there's one for every single year, and what it usually has is the average scores across the board. So for section 1, section 2, and section 3, there'll be a little sort of table, and it will say for each numerical score, so out of 30 or 27 or whatever it's out of, each numerical score and the sort of grade that you get, that it correlates to. So 1 out of 27 might be a 1.1, 2 out of 27 might be 1.3, and you'll get only the grade or the decimal, so you'll get the 1.1, the 1.3. You won't find out what your raw score was. If you go into this explanation of results sheet, you can basically look at that table and find your score and see what score it matches up with. You'll never have a score which isn't on there, because that would mean you got like 17.5 or 17.379, which can't exist. It's a multiple choice exam, so you can only get full numbers of results. So you can, first thing I'd recommend is just going along there and having a look, just for interest's sake, just to see what you got in terms of your raw score, which is the best way of looking at how you did, which is a nice thing to know, if you want to. Also, the averages will be there, so for your essay, your A to C will be there, so in terms of grammar, how well everyone did. Usually everyone got A's and B's. If you got lower than that, you should probably check why. Also, you want to check in on your actual numerical grades. So your section 2, section 1, section 3 numerical grades will all be there, and the averages, so how many people across the cohort got a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a 1, and a 0, obviously. It'll be laid out in a bar chart so you can see what the average was, how your year performed, and it might make sense if you've done, if you've somehow done really badly or somehow done really well. It might make more sense having a look at that, because it gives you context. I know my score, I made a video on it, which you can check out, I'll leave here, about my score and what my mistakes were, and I was pretty shocked by my score, but to be honest, after looking at the explanation of results, our year group just was really bad. Well, actually, that's a bad way of putting it. Our year group's exam was really tough, so everyone did pretty poorly, so my score in retrospect was actually decent. So, I had a split second where I was really worried, and then it sort of went, oh, actually I've done alright because the whole year's done like I have. So yeah, it really helps to just, before you make any sort of scary anxiety about your BMAT score, to take a look at the explanation of results, because it can really help you if you're worried about your score. And the final thing is just to make sure that, you've spoken with your tutors and your advisors about it. They are the people who will have your score. They'll probably already have your score, actually, to be honest. So make sure you chat with them about it. However you've done, make sure you let them know that you've got your results and how you feel about them. And, they're always down to help you out or talk to you or chat with you about it. So, yeah, if you are worried, feel free to drop a comment down below. I'll be able to get back to you. Or if you want it more privately, my Instagram is always here, so you can chat to me on there. I'm always happy to answer any questions. And, yeah, I would just say not to worry. You've got a luxury that your BMAT results are not important. Compared to your GCSEs and your public examinations, your BMAT results are not important whatsoever. They only are a tiny hurdle in your whole medical application process. There are so many other areas you can do well in, so I really wouldn't worry about it. So yeah, I do hope this video helped quell some of your worries, or I do hope this video, calmed your anxiety around BMAT results, because that's fair enough. It's a new day, and it's a very worrying aspect. So I do hope that it helped a little bit. If it did, make sure you drop a like and subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next video. So yeah.